So it's Podcast episode 12 with Dave. So we're recording this podcast on an app called Stereo. Now, if you guys haven't downloaded Stereo yet, Stereo is an app where you can listen to different conversations. People listen live. You can also add your voice notes to people's conversations, which may happen during this podcast. So, yeah. So we're going to test this out. Dave, you all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, mate. Not too bad.
It's a bit different, this is, isn't it?
It is, to be fair. It's more weirder than a Zoom call.
I suppose we'll get into the swing of it once we've had a good 10 minutes on here, I suppose.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, we can go in with some of the news we've already spoke about today, what we're speaking about earlier. We had I was saying share with your friends. Let's just do that.
Hey.
So news that we had earlier was that Calvin Gastelum is now has stepped in to fight. Who is it?
Bobby Knuckles.
Robert Whittaker. His name just. Sorry, I was reading something at the same time. I was reading something we're going to speak about in a bit. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
So we got Bobby Knuckles fighting against Calvin Gastelum, which it's a good fight in itself. Even if that was the fight anyway, we'd be happy, wouldn't we?
One of the best in the division, if I'm honest, mate.
Yeah.
You got two absolute killers going at each other.
So I think that could be like if they fight. Imagine Gastelum won that. That could give him a chance maybe for the title. A title shot there.
I'm happy to have that.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, here we go. We got a voice note from one of our listeners. You ready?
Hey, yo.
Yes, we got I have accent in. There we go. What's going on, my friend? You all right? So yeah, we're just talking about Calvin Gastelum stepping in to fight Robert Whittaker because Costa's been out with the flu. I say at the moment, the flu has an unbeaten record in the UFC.
Say that again, Pad. I didn't catch it.
I said the flu has an unbeaten record in the UFC.
Yeah.
But
mate,
yeah, say that again.
Just what an excuse, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's an easy excuse to make at the moment.
Even the drunk excuse.
Yeah, it's turned into a bit of a Dante Wilder of UFC, isn't it?
Yeah, he definitely is, man. I think he needs to turn that in and just focus on just not speaking.
Yeah, you're right, man. Because he's an absolute beast. Like, that's not going to change. You know what I mean? He is quality. He needs to keep at it. But who you got winning in the Whittaker versus Gastelum then?
I'm gonna back Bobby Knuckles because he's one of my favourite fighters, man.
Yeah, I think as well rounded as Gastelum is, I do feel like Whittaker is that level, like he's the top level and he'll stay there, but I just feel like Adesanya's just got his number, so I feel like that's why he's not the champion. But then we got Adesanya coming back down. Yeah, definitely. And
I think Adesanya will just dominate for a bit now.
Yeah, just come down and just dominate the division for a few fights.
Yeah, man.
So what about the weekend just gone then? Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad, mate. What a disappointment.
The contest, if I'm honest.
I'm not happy either way, but I want to see a fight. Like, Leon Edwards has been out of the ring for some time now.
Yeah. And to just get done like that after being out of what has he got, 3 years?
It's two, I thought it was 2, but even that.
Even that. Just coming back. You can't be done for an eye poke, man.
Yeah. It's quite
absolutely
annoying.
ridiculous.
I think what happened the week before, I think had an effect on this, though, don't you? With
Kinda.
Aljamain Sterling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because of the way that was dealt with, I feel like this one needed to be dealt with in a different light, sort of thing. But yeah, there was
Sorry,
that
Callum.
was
Just
no, it's absolutely fine. Guys, if you haven't already, don't forget to go onto our YouTube, go onto our TikTok, go onto our Spotify, search podcast in any search engine, search podcast in any search engine, and that'll come up. We've got plenty of podcasts, plenty of interviews. We've got loads of shorts where we give you the upcoming news on most MMA. Most of the big news we try to have a little video about. So if you've got time and you're sitting about bored and you want to know what's MMA news, a bit of boxing news, search for podcast. You want to chill out, listen to us just chat a load of rubbish about our opinions on it. Listen to our podcast, go to Spotify. We've got a catalogue there for you with me, Dave, and Tosh. So yeah. What else did we have? We had last weekend, so
there's been absolutely loads, to be fair.
I want to talk about last weekend, to be honest, though, the Peter Yan fight versus Aljamain Sterling. Now, he walked out of the ring, Sterling, and to me, I was like, the way he walked and left the bout, I thought, fair play, And then about an hour later, we see pictures of him holding it on his shoulder, smiling and that. And then after that, we see him coming out saying his friends are asking him to celebrate. His friends want pictures with the champ. So I'm not sure what we should take from it. At first, I was thinking maybe, basically he lost on a decision. Do you know what I mean? That was no fault of his own. So really, he won the fight, even though we got battered most rounds. Then yeah. And then we also had that evening, we had Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson. Now, it was a submission, but I had no doubt that Nunes was going to win that. I think if you're a betting man and you've got money...
No contest.
Yeah. I was going to say, if you're a bet...
There's no need for Amanda Nunes to fight anymore. Unless they're giving a Shevchenko.
Yeah. I believe that with Amanda Nunes, if you're a betting man and you've got money and you want to make some money, then you should bet on Amanda Nunes anytime she fights, because you're going to make money. Do you know you muted us, Dave?
No, I'm mute the background, mate. We've got people talking in the background.
No worries. So then, yeah, we had that. No worries. Then that evening, we also had Jan Blachowicz versus Israel Adesanya. Now, many people had Adesanya.
I'm not going to lie.
3-2, what way?
Izzy, sorry, yeah.
Oh, did you? I
did going into the... Yeah, I did actually have it 3-2.
I can't remember. Like, I had it. I thought it was 3-2 the other way. When I finished, I thought, this is going to be one of them where Jan's just won it, but Izzy's going to take it due to being a favourite, or But I genuinely thought Jan won it, to be honest. But that'd be a good one to watch back, and pick apart why we thought each other had that. But I felt like even though Jan was gassing out at the end, he really did, he'd done what needed to be done. You know what I mean? And I don't think Adesanya stepped up and snatched the belt from him at all, which people say you have to do to the champ. And we're talking about championship rounds. Jan had the championship rounds, didn't
he? He did, yeah. He got the takedown, and I think they looked upon. They must look upon him as like, I don't know. Some superior thing that wins you the whole fight.
I think we give the takedown less credit than the people who score the fights do. I think the takedowns only should be pointed when it's gained an advantage. If it's just taking someone down and they've stood up, I don't think that's pretty fair.
I think they should stop using boxing then, to be fair.
I think I don't see why they don't have their own set of judges anyway. Like,
It's mad, isn't it? Why don't they just pay someone say, this is what you need to look out for, this is the point system, learn it.
I think maybe like now that will be the case, because the sport's getting bigger. I think there was a time where maybe there wasn't enough people just wanting to be UFC referees, whereas nowadays you could see people want to be a UFC referee, don't they?
Yeah, that's true. I'd love to be a UFC referee.
Yeah.
I'd call that shit.
You'd love it. I think my favourite fight of that evening.
I've got Luke here with me, so he'll probably cut in.
Yeah, no. And let's have a look. So my favourite fight of that evening, if I was going to pick my favourite fight, I'd go with the Blachowicz versus Adesanya fight, just because I feel like it was very 50-50, whereas Jan, I feel like, battered Sterling all the way through, and Amanda Nunes versus Anderson was really a no contest, wasn't it?
Totally agree.
Whereas obviously there was more fights throughout the night, but I'm just talking off the main main events, really.
Yeah.
So I've got a question for it.
Go on. Sorry.
So I've got a question for you. We did cover him when he was a bit earlier on in his UFC career, when he was had a few less fights, but he's kind of stepped up now. And but what do you feel about Cyril Gane?
I like him. I think he's the future, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
he's wicked, mate. He's so on point.
Yeah, and he's like, I feel like a lot of people say his last fight was boring against Rosenstrike, but he shut Rosenstrike down every round.
Took away that power.
Yeah. 8-0, mate. Never lost.
This is it, man. And he's 30 years old. Did you know that?
So he has to. I'll tell you what, talking about age though, I was watching a thing the other day, whereas it was showing all the people's ages, and it was between like 34 and 36, and it was a massive 32 and 36, and it was showing a massive amount of UFC fighters who we believe are at the top of the game.
Yeah, man, that's the prime years, though, isn't it, mate? I mean, you get the odd rare who is like John Jones, who just comes in at 21 and something and that.
He's like boxing's Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Put more skill.
Yeah. Definitely.
What's the next card? I think.
The
next card's just
Masvidal.
I was going to say there is a fight night before that. I did like there was Kevin Holland. The only reason I wanted to talk about it was because I remember we covered Kevin Holland before, and he was murking, weren't he? And then you've got Derek. He's facing Derek Brunson, which that is going to be a proper good fight, isn't it?
It'll be a good fight, but I think he's just going to walk through him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you see the way Izzy dealt with Brunson, I think Kevin Holland's got an easier job as a man.
Whoa! I remember. I know you've just said about Usman, but I'm sure there's a few big fights before that.
No, is that?
Yeah, UFC 260.
Yeah. Okay.
Stipe against Ngannou.
Oh, God, yeah, I forgot about that.
On the same card as Volkanovski versus Ortega. On the same card as Woodley versus Luque. And then at bantamweight, making his comeback, we got Sean O'Malley versus Thomas Almeida.
Love it, mate.
That's a nice card, that is.
It is. It'd be a good one.
Thomas Almeida, didn't they already fight?
No, they didn't, mate. I don't think they did
Who,
anyway.
who did O'Malley lose against?
Figueiredo.
Oh, that's it. So here we go. Sean O'Malley train back on. And
Well,
then
he's
we've
still
got
member of the league, but he's unbeaten, don't he?
Yeah, he does. What about Woodley though? Do you think Woodley's
I
fighting
think he's
Luke?
better, mate. He's been cut.
Is it? This is his final.
100%, man. And Luke ain't no one to mess with, if I'm honest.
He's a beast, isn't he?
If he walks into that Luke fight thinking, yeah, no, I'm just going to steamroll you, think again. Like I said, Pad, people have figured out Woodley's game. And
That's it.
they're on it now.
I think I started liking Woodley at the wrong end of his career, didn't I?
I think he did, to be fair.
It's mad. I remember I remember being quite new to UFC and then going watching a lot of Woodley's old fights, thinking, yeah, this is it. And every time I've watched him, he's bloody lost since. I gotta say. And then obviously Volkanovski versus Ortega. Now, mate, that's a I can't call that. That's a pick'em for me.
I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got
If it goes to the
Volkanovski.
ground, Ortega let you go.
Yeah. What if it?
Volkanovski will touch him up.
Yeah. So it's about whoever can get their game working then in that fight, isn't it?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. But Stipe versus Ngannou, it just feels like they're like, it feels like they want Stipe to they want not Stipe to lose, but they want Ngannou to win. They want him to be like the face of the heavyweights, don't they?
He looks like the perfect champion, though. Let's face it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
If you're going to promote UFC and say, look at our UFC heavyweight champion, he's the one you want on the poster.
Yeah, I suppose. And more people know about Ngannou than Miocic, and Miocic is still like, if I'm talking about more people that outside of the UFC would know who Ngannou is rather than Miocic. But and even though Miocic has done the most at heavyweight, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Miocic is well, to come back and beat Dan Cormier after being beat by him.
Yeah.
That's mint, mate. People overlook Stipe, but he's got a good skill.
All right, you talk about Stipe. I'm just going to be 10 seconds.
Yeah, but Stipe's sorry about that. Kids in the background. Yeah, but Stipe's got a well-rounded guy. He's got skill. He's got the takedown. I think that's what done Ngannou last time because he couldn't deal with his takedowns, and Stipe had that bit more experience. And just knew, you know what I mean, not to stay standing with an absolute rocket. But, guys, that will be a good fight, to be fair. I want to move on to Usman versus Masvidal. Is that going to go like? Yeah, guys. Whoever flicks past us or whoever's listening, give us an audio clip or something. That's what's going on. That's what we do. Anything about boxing, MMA, football, any type of sport. Let's get on it. Yeah.
You there, Dave? Yeah.
I am, mate.
Yeah. There we go. So, yeah, just when you're trying to do a podcast and then every person in the world didn't want to know you beforehand, but then now your main priority once you're doing your podcast. But yeah, so we were talking about Ngannou and Stipe. So in all honesty, unless Ngannou's going to come with something different. I see the same happening, to be honest, unless Stipe slow down a bit.
I see the same outcome, but a longer fight. Or no, not a longer fight. Div. But more skill shown from Ngannou from the last times, like an improvement.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But should have just waited for Thingy to be. Yeah, I think he should have waited for someone else to fight Stipe. I reckon he's his bogeyman.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon. I don't reckon Ngannou could do Stipe at all, man. I just feel like it's just the wrong styles make fights, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't think for 1 second it could be a rubber match?
No, I feel obviously I know Thingy can get cracked, but I know Stipe can get cracked, but I just don't see it happening, man.
It is mad, and I hate that. As you know, I hate calling them, man.
Yeah. But you know,
after the last time, you can only pick Stipe.
And then we got the event after that. We've got just a normal fight night, but the main event is going to be Darren Till versus Marvin Vettori at middleweight.
Oh, wait for it.
It's nice to have Darren Till back. See if he can.
The meme king.
Yeah, the meme king. Obviously, who was it? Rumble Johnson, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was funny.
And so he put out a tweet, guys, saying about Rumble Johnson being scared, so he's run back to Bellator. But I don't think that's the case.
It's definitely not.
Oh, I'll tell you what, while we're here, on that evening, there are quite a few other fights, but I'm just picking out names. I can. Mike Perry's fighting that evening as well, so that's mad, them being on the same card, isn't it?
Hopefully, Till's his corner, man.
Yeah, well, he could be because he's 1, 2, 3. He's like 5 fights before him. So, but I'll tell you why we're here. Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua has been signed of a 2-fight deal.
Not done and done now.
Well, they're saying it's done and dusted. They just need date and venue, but it is done and dusted apparently.
Reckon it'll have fans.
Yeah, because I think you can have fans in America or the Middle East. So.
To be fair, the Usman versus Masvidal card that's full.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How many's there though? Do you know?
2,000.
Because they can have, I think it's 23,000 at a place in. I can't remember where the last Canelo fight was. So there you can have like 23,000. So
okay.
I think so. There are certain places where you can have fights in America. So hopefully they do. But I think it'll be done in Saudi Arabia anyway. But I can't wait for that fight. That's one of the fights for the ages in boxing, that is. And, yeah, definitely make history. It'll be one of the biggest events ever, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's too much going for it. Like Anthony Joshua's like media side, like how big he is online and social status, and then like how much now Fury's picked up in the past 2 years. Like 2 years ago, this fight wouldn't have been that big, but now how big Fury seems to have, like fans calling for him, and he's got a big fan base in America now. I feel like he could. This is going to be like the big, as big as Pacquiao Mayweather. I'll dare to say it.
It will just cement either one of them.
Whoever wins this fight, it's because literally they forgot Deontay Wilder, like just because Fury beat him, like they forgot that he even exists. Like now it's a 2-horse race. Who's the best in the world? That's it. There's like, and this fight proves it. That's what they're saying. So
yeah.
But
there was a boxing match that I was meant to ask you about. To be fair, Who in the blue hell is it?
Boxing, I can't think. There's just.
What do you think of the Jake Paul Ben Askren?
Oh, we've got a message. Jake Paul, Ben Askren. We'll hit that after this voice message. Let's see what they got to say.
What's that? Forgot about Deontay Wilder. Nah, he forgot about himself, to be honest, because all them excuses, ridiculous, man. That's why he's, in a way, you know, he's a bit lost out here. You know what I mean? Pure excuses, man. Sometimes when you lose, man.
Yeah, no, mate, I agree. I totally agree with you. He did lose,
100%.
but I just feel like because he's not the greatest boxer in the scene, he's seen as just because he's got that stupid power, and he's knocked down every single opponent he's ever faced. So, like, don't get me wrong, I don't class him as the sickest boxer, but I feel like all them excuses, like. He's Mark Breland, his trainer. He kind of put him down, like saying that he drugged his water. Then he says that he shouldn't have threw the towel in. He said that his costume weighed too heavy. I think he was just trying to dig himself out of a hole, sort of thing. But yeah, we got a reply.
Pop them bubbles.
Yeah, but he's only fought like 3 fighters with a pulse. You know what I mean? Wait, and he's fought him twice.
Yeah, no, I do get what you mean. Like, obviously, Ortiz is one of the best he's fought. Obviously, he's fought Fury. Now, I do get what you're saying, but he's fought what's in front of him, and you could say he's a cherry picker, but he ain't done bad. You know what I mean? He's done all right.
He ain't done bad to build that record.
And I still don't get me wrong. I'm still not going to sit here and say he's the greatest boxer because he definitely isn't. But
no,
he's got the power. You know what I mean?
Just knows how to catch a man, don't he?
Yeah, but he's proper wild with it.
Oh, 100%.
But some of the fighters, some of the fighters today are still wild. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't say wild, but not like conventional. Like if you go in a gym and you try to, and just say Lomachenko walked in a gym today as a kid and he started doing what he was doing. If he went into an English gym, they'll be like, "No, you're doing that wrong. You're doing that wrong. You should punch like you should do that." But he's got sort of like Nazim Hamid. He was sort of like that. Like, he was so different. But he didn't punch from the same way people punch and stuff like that. He was special. He was.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Yeah, it's that thing for me. The way you come back when you lose, that's what I count a real fighter. You know what I mean? And as I said, the way he's come back, mate, it's not very good. As I said, I think he needs to get himself out there and try and get some fights on. Get yourself back in the ball, man.
Yeah, now you are. Go on.
Sorry, mate. The thing is, though, mate, if you Deontay Wilder and you've made all them millions, it's hard to get out of bed in silk pajamas, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but to be fair, Canelo's getting out of bed. Canelo come to a weigh-in in silk pajamas, so Yeah. But no, he is. I think Ruiz has called him out today. I think that looks like a likely fight. He'll fight Ruiz, and if he batters him, knocks him out, he'd say, "Oh, look what I could do to Joshua." But then on the other hand, Ruiz ain't no slouch. He still can box, can't he? But no, man, it's a mad one. Like I loved it when them three were all unbeaten: Joshua, Wilder, and Fury. I thought, yeah, this is a sticky situation, but it's all starting to close down now.
It's all coming to an end, Pad.
Look at the Klitschko's, you know what I mean? They have silk pajamas for fucking years, you know what I mean? So, look how long they were champions, and they lost fights as well and come back. So, nah, I'm not buying it, mate.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see.
Motivates some people. Money demotivates some people when they've actually got it.
And you got to bear in mind, if you go over the past few years, like, Deontay Wilder is only big now. Like, he's only spoke about now. He was only really spoke about when he was fighting Wilder, fighting Fury. At the time, no one really was watching out for Wilder. No one was following him. I watched interview thing with him where he's walking down the street in his home city, and people are like, do you know who this is? And he's the champion of the world, and people didn't even know who he was. So I feel like now he's got a bit of fame. Maybe that might have went to his head more than the money sort of thing. You know, like everyone saying you're the greatest. It's a mad one. But yeah, so
I'm still in the room, but don't worry, man.
yeah, but I can't wait to see that fight, man. I'd like to see them fight a few times, you know, like the way like Ali and Foreman, like you had you know, just the old school fighters where they fought each other a few times, but they all still lost, still won. You know, it's
all politics now, though, isn't it? Like you said.
It's the Mayweather effect. I tell you what, Mayweather finishing his career on a 0 has kind of put boxing in a weird situation, because people who are unbeaten for ages can lose one, not lose, and then when they lose one, they're kind of seen as a shithead. And then they could lose two, another one, and then go on a good spree, and then seen as like a good fighter again. So it's.
They're very fit. Football fans and
yeah, there's a kid in boxing who I tell you now, I feel like he could fight a few of the big, you know, people. Like, but I think his name's James Tennyson. I think he's Scottish. He's ginger lad, and he's lost a few fights, mate. But he fights really well. He punches really hard. He does the basics great, and I feel like having them losses has put him on a. You know, made him realise that he can lose, made him realise that he don't want to lose again. So I don't think losing's always the bad thing. I think you've got to learn from your losses. You know what I mean?
That's it, man. That's it. Well, obviously Mayweather can't run from the loss, can he? He's never had one.
Yeah, I suppose. I think.
Maybe, mate. Who's Canelo got next then? It's Billy Joe, isn't he?
Billy Joe Saunders.
Can't wait, bro.
I can't wait, but I know the outcome, mate. I can't sit here and lie about it.
Canelo, order.
There you go, and that's coming from someone who don't watch a lot of boxing.
Billy Joe's got a chance though, at least, right?
He's got a chance. Like, he's a great boxer, but like again. He is a great boxer. He's never been tested, and I want Billy Joe to win. If Billy Joe won this, I'd be so buzzing. But I'd give my honest opinion to him if he was sitting here now. I believe he can. Yeah, let's see what OG's saying first, and then we'll get back to that, because I hope he's talking about. I think I'm presuming, because from his accent, that he might be from Sheffield or Leeds, and where a lot of them guys train. So I'm hoping that he knows what we're on about as well.
Hi, you guys. I spoke to Dave earlier in the one show with me and Dan. Just thought I'd show some support, as I've got like 4% battery left, and to be fair, I don't even know where the charger is, so I'll have fun looking for that. But I know this is your first show, but good luck, boys. I know you do a lot of YouTube stuff, and I'm interested to hear what you've got to say, Paddy, because I've been told that you're the man with the boxing info. Just on that then, question for you then, Dave, as well. Who's the best boxer around then, Paddy, and who's the best boxer in UFC? Who's the best, who's got the best boxing ability in the UFC? And who's the best boxer around? We were talking about AJ and Tyson Fury fight earlier, but but who's the best around?
Oh, I did. Yeah. We do have another voice clip, but I will do that one after. But mate, thanks for popping on. I do appreciate it. And Dave, nice one for plugging it as well. I do appreciate that. It was a
great convo with Brandon earlier and Dan.
Yeah, it's the best boxing now. Like, see, there's so many different types of boxing. That there is, but if I was going to say there's someone now, I'm going to say someone who's just come off a loss as well. But if we're talking about boxing and skill in the ring, I would say Lomachenko. I genuinely would. I would say I don't believe there's many that box
Okay.
as great of him as well. But Canelo is a great boxer, guys. Like, I mean, we can go talk about Mayweather all day, but if we're talking about current boxers, their boxing is that's what is stand out about Canelo. Don't get me wrong, he's strong, he's vicious, but his boxing skill makes up for his size. If you look at his last few fights, he's fought massive people. Mate, you might think that's an advantage, but if someone's a good tall person, then they can shut it down. But again, Canelo's fighting Billy Joe Saunders, who again is a great boxer. He's very, schooled well from a good school of boxers, went pro with James DeGale and Frankie Gavin, and they're like, a proper good. That GB team was an amazing, batch of amateurs. I think Billy Joe Saunders is up there as one of the best boxers, definitely. But if we're talking, there's a whole different, aspect, isn't there, of boxing? There's power, there's people, there's come forward fighters, there's pressure fighters, there's people who fight on the back steps. So it's hard to answer the question. And also, being a fan of boxers, you kind of be a bit biased towards your favourite, don't you? So you'd be like, he's better, but I don't know. Clearly, I believe Fury boxes better than AJ, but I don't think AJ's a poor boxer in the slightest at all. But I do believe that AJ has Fury's number. But yeah.
Nice. I'm going to go best boxer in UFC. Probably. I like Cody Garbrandt boxing. It's tight.
Yeah.
It's precise. I like Connors as well. I think Garbrandt's got that bit more tightness about him.
Is it Gaethje? Gaethje or Poirier? Who's the puncher? Or both?
Say that again, sorry, mate.
Is it Gaethje or Poirier? Who are the boxers?
Oh yeah, they're all right.
Yeah, but and then you had Thingy.
Garbrandt.
You had Ferguson.
I'm gonna go Garbrandt.
Yeah, he seems like the most polished in a boxing style.
100%. Yeah.
Well, if we're talking striking, i.e., punching, you can't count Conor McGregor out, can you?
You can't, to be fair, mate, because he's got an absolute piston of a left hand.
So it's a bit different to call it in UFC, isn't it?
I'd say.
Yeah, we got
looking wise. I'd say Garbrandt's got the better boxing.
Yeah. All right,
It's
and
got
let's
these
go.
bubbles.
Let's have the next one.
I think Billy Joe has got a big chance. Billy Joe's a good fighter, but I think with Billy Joe, he's not active enough. You know what I mean? So I think, and when I say active, I mean high level fighters. So I think in that sense, he may lose. You know what I mean? But I think he'll lose by points. I can't see him getting knocked out. He's a tricky fighter, man. He's just an awkward, tricky fighter.
Yeah, OG, I fully agree. And do you know what? If that was, you should be on this podcast, mate, because that's my opinion. Exactly what I would think. I feel like he's fought, your people like your Eubanks and your Lemieux, but I don't think he's been constantly fighting a good enough level to be able to know if he's ready for Canelo. But you're exactly right to the T there, mate. Next one, yeah.
I was going to say Canelo because he's one boxer where, like, when I ever see that he's got a fight on the go, I have to stay up and watch it, or I have to definitely watch it as soon as I possibly can. I enjoy Canelo so much. I think I agree with the Canelo shout. And yeah, I mean, we were talking about what boxer inspired you to enjoy boxing. I think the first fight I ever remember was Lennox Lewis. I think that was the first fight I can solidly remember. And that got me into boxing. And so I'm going to ask you two. I've already sort of got Dan's view, but I'm going to ask you, Paddy, who got you into boxing? Who's the one fighter that you can remember back in the day that you watched and you went, I love boxing?
It's a bit of a mad one for me, mate, to be honest. Like, I've got family boxing, and it's like I used to, I never used to follow it as much just because I didn't want to see him as a bit of a like hanger-oner sort of thing. So, they always had people following them and stuff. But I mean, if I started getting into boxing, mate, what boxer really? Joe Calzaghe, mate. Joe Calzaghe. Oh my God, you could go back and watch his every fight. You're on your feet. He's someone who I definitely. When I used to live in Bristol, we used to drive past him, and I never knew that he was some big world famous boxer at the time. And you'd see him running up and down the roads, and my sister would say, "Oh, that's Joe Calzaghe, that is." And I never knew who he was. And then as I got older and started getting into boxing, I started doing that, I started watching boxing more because of him. And then Nazim Hamid, oh, mate, obviously I love fan favorites. And then from then on, I'll tell you what, who got me into boxing, I say heavily, i.e. what's going on in the shows, what's going on in the, the background, is Eddie Hearn, mate. It's not actually a boxer. Like Eddie Hearn proper put me onto like what happens in the background, how things work, how contracts work, how negotiations work. And if you've went like from the last 10 years of IFL, if you've been there from the beginning, you could actually like through all the interviews he's had with Coogan and that, you could see that he gives you a mass knowledge of what's going on in the background of boxing. But boxing wise, I've got to say, like, probably Calzaghe or Nazim Hamid, mate. What about you, Dave?
I liked Nazim Hamid. I did say, like, back in the day, there's too many boxers for me to choose from. But, who got me into boxing? It was, who was it? Like Nigel Benn and that?
Yeah.
Them, man, like them, like Nazim Hamid, like you say, yeah. I didn't really know too many foreign boxers, like your obvious ones, obviously, like Tyson and that. But my dad was always on English boxers.
Yeah, I think what's happened nowadays, like it's a lot easier to follow your foreign boxers, isn't it? Just because the internet and stuff like you can actually follow someone's social media account now, so it's a lot easier than it was back in the day. So you would tend to follow more your British fighters if they were big at the time. But yeah, I'll pop some bubbles.
I just realised OG, a big OG man. The OG comes into a lot of my shows. He's a good guy, man. If you two really want to get the stereo thing up and running, you need to follow and like people like OG. Because OG gets himself about, man. Yeah, but big up OG. I will try, and you know what? If you want to come into our shows or my shows, any of my shows, and you want to plug your stuff, guys, feel free, man. I really respect the people plugging their shows and stuff, because it's the only way to get followers and it's the only way to, get yourself about. So yeah, guys, feel free to come in and follow. And I always say, if you follow me, I'll follow you back. And let's all try and get verified and try to do well on some stereo, man.
Oh, definitely, Brandon. Definitely. Just to give you the heads up, yeah, if you want as well, Brandon, thanks for obviously jumping in. If you want as well, we can post on our TikTok. We've got like 155k followers on there, so we can get a video on there, post, give you some promotion on there also. We've got a YouTube account, so if you want to ever jump on our podcast with us, by all means, while lockdown's on, we've been doing Zoom calls. And yeah, so we'll just keep promoting each other, keep plugging each other.
That's it, mate. We can't get anywhere without each other.
And that's it. And we downloaded this app yesterday, and mate, it seems to do the trick, doesn't it?
It does, to be fair. But we need to get on all platforms anyway, like we all do.
Yeah, to be fair, we're not doing too bad, Dave. We're on TikTok, we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, we're on anywhere you can get podcasts. So if you want to download a podcast, type in podcast and our podcast comes up. So we're doing all right, Dave. We're hitting the numbers, and yeah,
we've got about 500 subscribers anyway.
Yeah, so that's nice. And then we've we're not doing too bad. I'm happy. And for what? How long we've been doing it now? About 6 months. So we've had a good. We've set the foundations. We've put the grass down. We've built the house. Now we just got to decorate, mate.
Laid the carpet and that.
That's it, man. Yeah, some bubbles.
Yeah, for me, what got me into boxing is Mike Tyson, man. Iron Mike, jeez, Muhammad Ali. But as I say, for my era, Iron Mike, man, jeez. I used to have the haircut and everything.
Trust me, I've just followed you as well, OG, man. Do you remember that back in the day when people used to have like night ticks in the back of their hair and that? That was a mad one. And like Adidas signs and that.
People used to get it coloured in like red or blue or...
Yeah. I remember Ty used to have his hair. He used to have it like dyed blonde on the top, and then his mum used to have all patterns in his hair around the side, and then the patterns would be blonde, but his hair would be brown on the inside. Mad.
That's mad.
We got another bubble. Let's see what these say.
Oh mate, I'm out of it with TikTok. I don't understand. I've only just got Twitter, so I'm a bit. I was so anti social media for ages, but now I've wanted to do this on stereo, and I enjoy stereo so much. It's addictive. It can be addictive. You know, podcasts and talking about stuff you love. I mean, I love football more than anything, but you know, it's. You end up talking about it over and over and over, and it's so addictive. I mean, I'm sure you two get the bug when you do your little podcasts, and when you do, when you're talking about something as much passion as you've got. It's incredible, and yeah, like cheers, guys. I mean, I've already got a sort of a football community going on with the lads, and I will always plug your shows because I'm really enjoying the content.
No worries, mate. And just to let you know, like, don't think we're football slouches at all. Like, the reason we don't talk about football that much is because we have completed football, mate. Literally, like, yeah, like, I just feel like it's got to a point now where it's just different names and new seasons. I feel like there was a time where I could tell you every player in every in every Premier League team. I could tell you where they was loaned from, who they'll go to. I still could do it probably about 70% of that now, but it's a lot. I feel like it's not a big love in the game as much. Like, I still read about it
for it, but it's still in my heart.
Yeah, I still read every night I go to bed. I still read the football, make sure I'm still up to date on everything that's happening. But it's just not like there's no love there for it as much.
All right, Pad, this was on Brandon's. Brandon and Dan was talking about this earlier. Just a quick one.
Yeah.
Do you think athletes are paid too much?
No.
Or certain athletes?
No.
You don't?
Not in the slight. I don't. No, not in the slightest. I feel like you only pay for what you're worth in life. And the be all and end all, they wouldn't give Cristiano Ronaldo £1 million a week if he wasn't bringing in £1 million a week. Do you know what I mean? So...
That's true.
There'll be players like people like that Kepa that's been bought from Man City, that goalie, and there'll be people like him where you get dud boys and stuff like that, where you might overpay for at certain times for certain players. But I feel like they wouldn't pay if it wasn't worth that. Do you know what I mean?
Got to think of marketing and stuff as well, ain't you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we've got some bubbles, and we're going to cut this short in about 5 minutes. So I want to get these bubbles out, but yeah, it's been great. Let's see what they've got to say.
I've loved it.
I don't know whether that first question answered. If not, sorry. My thing said you've got 5% left, and it's slowly dying. Stereo does kill your phone a bit.
I've come across this and it's different, innit? You know what I mean? Like, as I said, boxing, UFC. Yeah, definitely, man. You know? As I said, I'm not really a social person, so this is perfect for me. I can talk, say my opinions on things, and find people who's got the same type of mindset when it comes to certain sports, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, just listening in, enjoying the show. I'll spread it and share it with others. Definitely. Big up.
I think
Yes,
it's good
nice.
for people who are just lonely as well, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we're in a lockdown at the moment. I know it's coming off
That's it.
soon, but people are still stuck in their house, chilling, doing nothing, and you can just sit here, listen to stuff, add your opinion, and it's one of them, isn't it?
That's what I mean, man. You get hardly any spammers on this, which is what I like.
Yeah, they'll come though. They'll come. Don't worry, Dave. But yeah, guys, we'll call it a day now. But that's been we've been on for just under an hour. So yeah, but what we'll do now, we've got the hang of it. We know exactly how this works, and that we'll do a lot more. And guys, if you haven't already, don't forget to go onto our YouTube, give us a subscribe, head over to TikTok, give us a follow, head over to Instagram if you like. So, and then if you want to listen to our full podcast or watch our podcast, you can watch them on YouTube or you can listen to them on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you download your podcast from. Let's see our last bubble.
So I mean, that for me, I'm working in it, so I'll get on this when I'm at work. Obviously, I work on my own pretty much, innit? So, as I say, the key worker doing my deliveries and whatnot, you know what I mean? So, yeah, this is, and keeps me going, to be honest, this little app.
That is it. That is it, bro. And that's what's perfect. You can get on it, have a quick listen, jump in and out of chats, and that's what's perfect about this app. So, guys, if you are listening to us on a different app or different,
following you, mate.
Yeah, there we go. So no worries, guys. Thanks for listening to Padcast MMA Podcast episode 12. Also hitting on other things with Dave. And yeah, have a nice day and take care.
Over and out, MMA junkies.
See you later.